Good morning, 7th standard. So, today we're going to do a poem that talks about a lot of dances. And it's about dance being an art form which all of us can do. And it's something that gets across to everybody. Okay? Now, this poem has been written by a person called Benjamin Zephaniah. Okay, now he was born in 1958. Okay, and he's a British poet. He's written books too. Some books named Refugee Boy, Face, and Talking Turkeys. And you'll see that a lot of his work is influenced by Jamaican culture and Jamaican ideas. Okay, so the name of the poem we're going to do today is Everybody is Doing It. It, of course, refers to dance. Okay, and it's by this poet called Benjamin Zephaniah. Okay, his whole name is Benjamin Obadiah Iqbal Zephaniah. Okay, he's still living too. He's alive. Okay, so now here you have a few types of dance, a few pictures there for you. Now flamenco is a Spanish dance, okay, and it's more of a folk dance. People say it's difficult to learn, and they say that it actually represents a way of looking at life. Okay, then next you have ballet. Ballet is, it actually they say originated in Italy in 1500. And ballar is an Italian word which means to dance. Okay. Now here the third one is waltzing. Waltz, you have a couple doing the waltz. Now this is a more formal type of dance and it's a ballroom dance, but at the same time you do have it as a folk dance. First it was said to have been performed in Germany, then in France, and now it's very famous in England too. That's the waltz. Okay. Now here you have many of the Indian dance forms being shown. I'm sure you can identify quite a few of them too. Okay, now here you have Bharatanatyam, which is a dance of Tamil Nadu, the state of Tamil Nadu. Then you have Kathak. Kathak is performed in northern India in quite a few states. Okay. Then you have Kathakali. Of course, Kathakali, I'm sure all of you know. It's from our own state, God's own country. Okay. Now, Kuchipudi, it's a dance from one of our neighboring states, that's Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Next, you have Manipuri, which is from the state Manipur. I'm sure you all guessed that, as the name says. And Manipur is one of the northeastern states of India. The next picture, I'm sure you all can tell me what it is. What is it? From which state? Where do we see Mohiniyattam? Of course, once again, God's own country, Kerala. Now the next one, Odissi. Odissi is from Orissa. It's a famous dance of Orissa. Okay. And the last is Satriya. Okay. Satriya is a famous dance of Assam. Okay. So now you've seen these dance forms. So what is the idea here in this poem? What is the poet trying to tell us when he says everybody is doing it? His basic idea is that everybody can dance. All over the world there are people doing all sorts of different dances, right? Like you've seen, I'm sure you all also do dance once in a while when you hear music that really interests you, isn't it? Do y'all dance once in a while? Yes, okay. So now all of you can open your textbooks to page 164 and we'll read the poem together. Okay. Everybody is doing it. Now it here refers to dance. In Hawaii, they hula. They tango in Argentina. They reggae in Jamaica. And they rumba down in Cuba. In Trinidad and Tobago, they do the calypso, and in Spain, the Spanish, they really do flamenco. Okay, so here you see countries being named along with their the famous dance there, the dance and the country being mentioned there. Now, Hawaii and Jamaica, Cuba and Trinidad and Tobago, these are all little islands near the Americas, right? Argentina is a country in South America, and Spain is a country in Europe. Okay, so here they've mentioned all the different types of dances and the countries in which you see them. Now, of course, here the next verse. In Punjab, they Bhangra, how they dance Kathak in India. Over in Guatemala, they dance the sweet marimba. Even foxes dance a lot. They invented the foxtrot. In Australia, it's true, they dance to the didgeridoo. Okay, so here you see that they're talking about two dances that are famous in India. Now, Bhangra we see in Punjab, right? You have the Punjabis doing this dance with their turbans, and it's a very colorful, very energetic dance. And the Kathak also is done in North India. Okay, now in Guatemala, Guatemala is a country in Central America, that is between South America and North America. They dance the sweet marimba. The marimba is also a dance that has quite a fast beat to it. Even foxes dance a lot. Now here he is just making a mention of animals. Okay, so when he mentions the fox, he connects it with the foxtrot. Now, foxtrot is a dance that has a sort of beat to it with the shoes, and it has a trot to it. So this is the foxtrot is usually done in England, okay, and in Australia you have a dance called the didgeridoo. Okay, now in the next verse, the poet talks about dances that are done in Africa. Now, if you notice all these, the sounds that are being there, you see at the end of the sentences, most of you have only or you have sound. Hula, Argentina, Jamaica, Cuba, okay, Tobago, calypso or flamenco. You have the O sound or the A sound being repeated throughout there. But you don't see much rhyming. Now the third verse. In Kenya, they benga. They high life in Ghana. They dance ballet all over. So ballet is done all over the world. The Rai dance in Algeria. They jolly in Mali. In Brazil, they samba. And the girls do belly dancing in the northern parts of Africa. Okay, now here Kenya, Ghana, Algeria are all in Africa. They're countries in Africa, and he mentions the dances being done there. Now the samba is a dance that's very famous in Brazil, and if you remember, we read about it when we were in 5th standard, right? The carnival there, and we read about that. Now the 4th verse there. Everybody does the disco from Baghdad to San Francisco. Many folk with razzmatazz cannot help dancing to jazz. They do the jig in Ireland, and it is really true. They still Morris dance in England when they can find time too. Okay, now this last verse you see disco. Now disco, it's done by everybody all over the world, right? And it's very famous. So that's why they say from Baghdad to San Francisco. Now Baghdad is the capital of It's in Iraq, right? Baghdad. And San Francisco is in America, in California. So you see that the distance, they're saying that all over the world, over this whole large distance, the disco is done by the people there. Okay, and once again, ballet. As I mentioned to you, ballet, it's a ballroom dance and it's done in many European countries, right? Razzmatazz and jazz also, that's done by many people. It's more fast dancing. Now the jig and the Morris dance, which they're mentioning there, these two are traditional dances, folk dances, which people do. Okay. Now that's what he says. They do it when they have time to do it. Okay. So this is just the poem as we've gone through it. Now let's see the various aspects of the poem. Now when he's mentioning all these different dances, he says that they all can be done, and irrespective of caste, creed, or color, or whichever country you are from, everybody is dancing. Dance is an art form that connects all these people. And you see that each verse has 8 lines, right? So there's a unifying concept here. Everything is being united, that in dance we are all being brought together. But you see, there's no concrete rhyme scheme. Sharikya oru rhyme scheme onnu illa. Like in the first stanza, you see the last words: hula, Argentina, Jamaica, Cuba. So all these words, you see the same rhyme scheme. But the next 2 lines, Tobago, Calypso, right, and Flamenco. These 3 words, they all have O. But once again, Spanish, it ends with a different sound, isn't it? So you have a rhyme scheme that shows A, B, B, C, B. Okay? So there's no concrete rhyme scheme being followed here. In between, you can see alliteration. Now, why don't you tell me what's alliteration? Remember, we've done alliteration last year when we've read poems last year. Can anybody tell me what's alliteration? I'm sure you can. Alliteration is when you have words beginning with the same sound, right? So here you have Hawaii, they hula, the first line itself. Then you have Trinidad and Tobago, right? So here in between we see that there is the alliteration also being used, right? So basically, what do you think? How does the poem make you feel? Can any of you tell me? Because you're dancing. So how do you feel when you're dancing? Happy, full of energy, cheerful, right? So the poem, it brings a sense of joy and cheerfulness along with the dance, and it's making everybody happy, and there's happiness inside them, inside their hearts, right? And overall, it's the poet Benjamin is trying to bring an universal outlook, a unifying force, and telling us that art never dies and it is for everybody. Universal means it's for everybody all over the universe, right? So, okay, so now we'll go to the next page, which has the exercises there for us. Okay. Okay. So now the first question there. Working with a partner, add punctuation to a copy of text 11D. Okay, so let's do that together now. Now, the first sentence there, you go back to the poem once again. In Hawaii, they hula. So that's a complete sentence. So you'll have a full stop at the end of hula. They tango in Argentina. They reggae in Jamaica. So at the end of Argentina, comma, Jamaica, comma, and they rumba down in Cuba. So these 3 lines together comes to end in Cuba. you see there's no these three lines, they seem to continue. That's why I said comma after Argentina and Jamaica, but full stop after Cuba. In Trinidad and Tobago, comma, they do the calypso, and in Spain the Spanish, they really do flamenco. So comma after Tobago, comma after calypso, comma after Spanish, and full stop after flamenco. Now the next verse. So I hope you've got the punctuation marks that I told you. You can mark it with your pencil as I'm telling you. Okay. In the Punjab, they Bhangra. Full stop. How they dance Kathak in India. Now see, that is an exclamation. So you have an exclamatory mark after India. Over in Guatemala, they dance the sweet marimba. So those two sentences, Guatemala, comma, and marimba, full stop. Even foxes dance a lot. They invented the foxtrot. So there you'd have a semicolon after lot, and trot you'd have a full stop. In Australia, it's true, they dance to the didgeridoo. So once again, colon, and then full stop at the end of the second stanza. Now the third verse. In Kenya, they benga. They high life in Ghana. They dance ballet all over. Now the first sentence, in Kenya, they benga, you'll have a semicolon. In Ghana, full stop. They dance ballet all over and Rai dance in Algeria. So you have the and there. So these two lines are combined together. So after over, you have a comma. And after Algeria, full stop. They jali in Mali. In Brazil, they samba. So after Mali, you have a semicolon. And after samba, the full stop. The next two, they are continuous. So only after Africa, you'll have a full stop. And the girls do belly dancing in the northern parts of Africa. Now the last verse. Everybody does the disco from Baghdad to San Francisco. So after disco, comma. Okay, because the sentence continues from 1 to 2. Full stop after San Francisco. Many folk with razzmatazz cannot help dancing to jazz. So it's a continuous sentence there once again. So you'll have a full stop after jazz. They do the jig in Ireland, comma, and it is really true. They still Morris dance in England when they can find time to. Full stop at the end. Okay, so I hope you've marked those punctuation marks as I told you all just now. Okay, now the next question there, B. Look at the rhyme in the poem. Is there a regular pattern? How would you describe the kind of rhymes being used? Use the tip below to help you. Okay, so here you see that the rhymes are being created with the use of place names, and you have them ending with A or oo sound, right? But some of the rhymes, you see, there are many unrhymed words, and some there are half rhymes. And overall, we see that the rhyme scheme isn't regular, it's irregular, right? And you have lot and trot, okay? And sometimes you have alternate rhymes with true or to, okay? So see, I'd like you to try and write, another verse to it. So they're telling you to write an extra verse to the poem. So try doing it, okay? Think of music and dance forms for other countries and try and do it, okay? And the tip here, we read the tip together. Half rhyme. When words do not really rhyme but have similar vowel sounds and the same consonants, then it's consonants, remember? When you have like the k and k sound repeating, or you have s and s sound repeating, then it is the consonant sound being repeated. It is assonance when you have the vowel sound being repeated. We call it half rhyme. So they're telling you that most of it there is half rhyme. It can have a cheerful effect as here, or a poignant one because of the echoes and discord it creates, as in the half rhymes of soul and all, frowned and friend. So here poignant means it's full of feeling and sentiment. Okay. Half rhymes allow a more subtle range of rhyming effects, especially when combined with other rhyming schemes, and help to avoid the sing-song chiming of full rhymes. So here we see that the poet is using all kinds of rhyme, right, to bring not to make it boring, but to make it more musical instead of having the same monotonous, boring type of effect of the poem. Okay, so I hope you've understood that poem, 7th standard. Okay, now try and write the verse there, another verse to this poem. You'll have to do a little research about dances and countries, right? And then write your verse. Okay, so try and do it, and you can put it in like today's Monday. Today's Tuesday. So you can put it in by the end of this week, Friday. Okay, so try and do it, all of you. So good morning once again, and I hope you all have a great day, all of you.